Oh, hi. You're already here. I was reading the Three Character Classic, which is one of Asian Chinese classic. It's kind of fun to read. It involves lots of thought-provoking stories and opens up an interesting historical perspective. To give you an idea, let me tell you a story I just read. The story took place in late Eastern Han Dynasty of China. Kung Rang was the 20th generation descendant of Confucius. In his family, there were 7 brothers and he was the 6th child. When Kung Rang was 4 years old, one day his father bought some pears for his sons. As you can see, some pears are big and others are small, and Kung Rang was asked to be the first one to pick a pear. Just when everyone thought he would pick the big one, he chose the smallest pear. So his father was very curious. Why did you pick up the smallest one? I'm younger, so I will eat the smaller pear, and the brothers can eat the bigger ones, he said. Who make the rules like that? He has to eat the smaller one? No, it was all his choice. Then his father asked further, Okay, so what about your younger brother who is younger than you? I'm older than him, so I will leave the bigger one to my little brothers. Therefore, Kung Rang was praised by his family for his kindness and generosity. The end. The story doesn't sound right. Probably it's because he doesn't like pears, so he chose the smallest pear. No, they all like pears. Oh, maybe he was afraid of getting beaten up by his brothers if he took the bigger one. Okay. The story is based on the premise that they all like pears. There's no family bullying at all. They all love Kung Rang. Okay? Wow. So Kung Rang may be an INFJ in terms of personality type. Wow. What a lovely kid it is. Yes? Anyway, the story is used to educate children on the values of courtesy, sharing, and fraternal love. Now the question is, if you were Kung Rang in the story, what will you do? Well, to my mom, it would be totally wrong if you tell her not to share pears. Yes, and this sort of thing happened on me when I was a child. One day, I was playing with my Ultimate Tiger. For someone who doesn't know Tiger, he is one of outer Asian giant of light who protected our Asian human civilization 30 million years ago. And he is the first outer to have the ability to change 3 forms, multi-types, Skype type, and power types. It's a bit too much. Well, he's just a Japanese superhero character. Let's back to the story. While I was playing with my Ultimate Tiger, my mom noticed that another kid wanted to play with my Tiger as well. At that time, I didn't know what is happening, but she was so eager to teach me behaving as a good kid like Kung Rang, who was kind and generous to his brothers. And I remember my mom was saying like, You have it a long time. Be nice and share your toy. Didn't you learn the Kung Rang sharing pear story? He was only 4 years old, and he knew sharing things. And now you are even older than him. You know what you should do. Apparently, I didn't want to keep away, because he was my favorite superhero. But my mom was desperate to teach me how to share, and she was about directly took my ticket away and give it to another kid. How dare you! Tiga! Well, nothing happened. Actually, it was my dad stopped her and saying, It's okay if our son doesn't want to share. He doesn't have to be like Kung Rang. Sharing is about compromise and fairness. One day he will learn that if we give a little to others, we can get some of what we want too. Learning takes time. I wasn't sure if my dad let me hear his saying on purpose. He's an open-minded person and never forced me doing this or that. Somehow I began to realize that sharing is a virtue, but it's not an excuse to use unreasonably high moral standard to force anyone to make sacrifice, which is like the typical forcing education method that I met. I really don't think it's going to work out. We have the right to say no, regardless of age. It all comes naturally and willingly. Life is all about sharing. If we're good at something, pass it on. I believe that sharing does make our life better. Hehe.